Hello and welcome to Tuesday's programme.
Coming up tonight between now and 6:30. Good evening. In the last hour, the Chancellor has announced unprecedented financial support for businesses throughout the coronavirus outbreak, saying he will do whatever it takes to help them and struggling families across the country.
Rishi Sunak echoed the Prime Minister's call to act like a wartime government, saying £330 billion would be made available in loans to those who needed it.
Well, David Wood is live in Westminster for us this evening. So, David, also news on business rates and mortgage payments. Can you take us through what happened? So, David, is this a case of the government trying to reassure people to take these measures to make sure that people feel protected?
I think it certainly is.
David, we just heard Boris Johnson mention there are tough times ahead. We need to win the fight. A lot of references to war from the Prime Minister and Rishi Sunak as well, actually. That is presumably intentional from both of them.
Well, today, businesses across the West Country have been telling us about the impact the coronavirus is already beginning to have and their fears for the future. A Meals on Wheels service in the Forest of Dean says its work will become increasingly vital once pensioners begin self-isolating.
The move is seen as necessary to protect over 70s and vulnerable people from the virus. The charity which ran the operation has gone into administration, but a benefactor has come forward so it can continue to supply some of the most vulnerable in our communities with hot food. Ken Goodwin has this next report.
Sheila.
For that update.
Well, it is a worrying time for many in our region at the moment, but for those of us with children, it can be difficult to explain what exactly is going on. We have been to the Prince of Wales School in Dorchester to get the views of pupils there. So some good advice there, and for all the developments on coronavirus from right across the West Country, you can head to our website and social. Here, though, we're going to take you to another story happening in the region this evening because a former pub at risk of falling into the sea near Watchet could be saved after plans were unveiled to strengthen the cliff face.
The Blue Anchor Inn closed over safety fears but remains a home. Well, the proposals also include rerouting a road which is perilously close to a cliff edge. Ben McGrail is there for us tonight. Ben, how's it looking?
Well, it's always...
Ben, thank you very much. Beautiful place to live, of course. It's time to take a look at what the weather's up to now, and Charlie's at the Met Office for us. It certainly wasn't as nice today as yesterday, was it, Charlie?
No, this is the satellite picture.
So, Charlie, further ahead into spring, how are we looking?
Well, not too bad, actually. It looks like this middle week part here is...
Yeah, fingers crossed indeed. Charlie, for now, thank you very much. Now, before we leave you this evening, just a reminder that Dr. Ranj On Call is back on ITV in an hour's time. It is, of course, presented by Dr. Ranj and you.
Yes, it is. We'll have the latest information and advice, of course, on the coronavirus. And also coming up in the show tonight, I talked to the... Too true. No, that's 7:30 tonight here on ITV.
That's it from all of us. I'll have the late news for you at 10:30.
Now, Mary Nightingale has the ITV Evening News. Bye-bye. Welcome to Dr. Ranj On Call.
Obviously, everyone's talking about coronavirus, so I'll be answering some of your questions a bit later. Of course, there are other illnesses you really need to be aware of.
Yes, and one of the big ones is sepsis, and Ranj will be telling you about the signs and symptoms shortly. Plus, we've got all of this. Yes, that's all happening over the next half an hour. And remember, if you have any questions on anything we're talking about tonight, or that you'd like us to cover next week, then just use the hashtag OnCall or email us oncall@itv.com.
But first, I've spent the majority of my career on hospital wards, so it's with both hands.
And it wasn't long before the blue lights burst into action.
Coronavirus.
Jude is on chemotherapy. She wants to know, is she in the at-risk category?
I'm afraid, Jude, you are. Unfortunately, chemotherapy weakens the immune system, which would therefore put you in risk of getting the infection.
And you mentioned last week that you've been in touch with the Department of Health. Any update this week?
So they're telling people with signs of possible coronavirus, that's a fever or a new persistent cough, to self-isolate at home for 7 days and to use the NHS 111 online system for information. Next, we may be advising whole households to isolate if someone's symptomatic.
Well, clearly the coronavirus isn't going anywhere fast. If you have...
are a huge problem.
Yes, a report by the Department of Health estimates the problem is costing the NHS around... Welcome back to Dr. Ranj On Call. Coming up, Ranj will be back out with the West Midlands Ambulance Service. And could your blood save someone's life? Find out shortly.
But first, one of our viewers, Catherine, has been in touch. She nearly lost her 4-year-old daughter to sepsis. It's a hidden killer that we as a nation simply don't know enough about. So here's my guide on what to look out for.
.uk, then fill in the online registration form, and here's how to do it. So Ranj, if you'd like to take one of those swabs out of there, you just rub it around inside your mouth, both sides of your mouth, and you would do that for about 60 seconds. When you've finished, you just pop. Good evening. As the number of cases of coronavirus rises to 51 across the UK, ITV News has been hearing from people in Cheltenham making conscious changes to their routines and lifestyles to try to avoid contamination.
St Mary's Primary in Tetbury is closed until tomorrow at least after a member of the staff tested positive there. The second confirmed case in Gloucestershire is believed to be linked.
The government says its priority is to keep people safe, but says it's likely the number of cases will rise. However, it's stressing even if someone gets the disease, the likelihood is most will make a full recovery with no lasting effects.
Well, the MP for South West Wiltshire, Andrew Murison, is also a doctor as well and says the NHS is able to cope should numbers increase.
Well, our website is updated with all the latest developments on coronavirus here in the West Country, and there's plenty.
And of course there will be much more on the coronavirus on the national news which follows us. Mary Nightingale has tonight's details. But here, environmental campaigners will meet Bristol City Council officials tomorrow to discuss the future of College Green. Campaign to
The water at Bristol's Redcliffe Bridge has shown high levels of E. coli. That's according to a City Council survey. The local authority.
Police investigating the theft of the Lord Mayor's jewellery in Bristol have released CCTV footage of the incident. Detectives.
Now, the team behind the Gloucestershire-based supersonic car Bloodhound says its future is in jeopardy once again due to funding issues.
In 2018, the project almost failed because of a lack of investment. The team now says £8 million is needed if the land speed record attempt is to go ahead next year.
In a moment, we'll be hearing from the chief engineer behind the project. But first, a reminder of the Bloodhound story so far from Richard Payne. Now, a very special woman today received the recognition she truly deserves. Andrea Hyder from Keynsham has fostered more than 100 children as a dedicated carer.
Well, today she travelled to London and was made an MBE at Buckingham Palace for her remarkable service to the community. Our reporter Max Walsh has the story.
Oh, well done, Andrea.
Yeah, and well done her neighbours.
Yeah. Now you're watching ITV News here in the West Country, and still to come before 6:30 tonight, the former England net.
But before that, we're going to talk about the new technology that could help transform surgery in our hospitals. Robots with... It is fascinating stuff. You've been to see Versius as part of your new show. It's on in an hour's time. Dr. Ranj on call.
Yep.
What did you think of the robot in action there?
Well, I have to say, it's something like a sci-fi film. Take a look at this. I went into the prolonging their careers. And as for the patient, I spoke to Peter before he went into that surgery. He only found out that he had cancer just a few months ago. And this type of surgery means less time in the operating theatre, faster recovery times and smaller scars too. Now, in tonight's programme, even, we'll have an update on how he's doing. The company behind Versius hasn't revealed the price tag, but they say it's made to be cost-effective within the NHS, and it's already in talks with other NHS trusts, so yeah, it could be coming here soon.
Yeah, that's just one of the things you've been looking at. This new show starts tonight, very exciting.
Yep.
Stars Dr. Ranj, of course.
Yep.
What else are viewers going to be able to see?
Well, I think it's worth pointing out, John, too, that Dr. Ranj is in fact a real doctor. You might not know that. He's a paediatrician. His skills are very much put to the test when he went out with an ambulance crew. Now, on his about the coronavirus, which obviously we've been talking about a lot, and with the help of medical experts, we're hoping to make our lives just a little bit healthier and shine a light on the work of NHS staff. As you said, thank you very much for the plug. Starts here on ITV just over an hour's time.
Yeah,
Don't
very
miss
much
it.
Looking forward to seeing that. But next in the West Country, many of us are obsessed with our phones, often scrolling through social media at the expense of spending some quality time with family and friends, something that was very clear from talking to some mums in Portishead.
But does staring at screens actually damage relationships or just annoy the people around us who are keen to have a real conversation? Derek Johnson has been investigating. So true. We were just saying we're guilty of it.
Yeah, and you just made a good point. What are we actually looking at?
I know,
never look at anything
scrolling
interesting.
Away, who knows? Apart from if people are looking at our Twitter pages, of course.
Probably.
Now, former England netball captain Serena Guthrie is swapping the court for a new life away from the sport she loves.
She's now working with a charity that encourages people to get into sport. And as Carrie Davis has been finding out, it's proving a real boost to her and those she is working with. Yeah, good stuff. Now, moving on, 3 giant sea turtles have been rescued and moved to a new home at Weymouth Sea Life Centre's Coral Reef.
Yeah, the marine creatures have been brought over from Florida after being hit by boats. Well, Richard Lawrence went to see staff help the turtles settle into their new home in Dorset. Oh, I could watch those pictures all day.
Lovely. Such beautiful creatures, aren't
they? It's been quite nice out there today, hasn't it? Plenty of blue sky. Makes a bit of a difference. Charlie's at the Met Office for us. I've really enjoyed today. More of it, please.
I know a lot of you have been getting in touch saying we'd like some more of this.
OK, Charlie, as always, many thanks. Before we leave you this evening, let's remind you of our top story here in the West Country and the number of cases of... That is it from all of us. I will be back with the late news for you at 10:30.
But now I'll hand you to Mary Nightingale as the ITV News continues. From all of us here, have a good evening. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
To the break, the latest on plans for an arena at Filton.
We'll have that along with the rest of the day's news next here on ITV.
Hello and welcome to Wednesday's programme.
Coming up tonight between now and 6:30, a new...
Good evening. Plans for a 17,000-seater music arena at Filton Airfield have been approved by Bristol City councillors in the last few moments, but the final decision will be made by the government.
A new train station and Metrobus route are already planned for the site alongside nearly 3,000 new homes. The whole scheme, though, will now be referred to the Secretary of State. Max Walsh is live outside City Hall for us this evening. Max, it's been a long time to get to this stage, hasn't it? Very much.
To other news now, and it's been confirmed that a Chinese national who was working for EDF in Bristol has tested positive for coronavirus. The 35-year-old man.
Well, meanwhile, a school in Tetbury has reopened this morning after a member of staff there tested positive for the virus. St Mary's Primary to be linked.
The charity Hop, Skip and Jump, which operates as a respite centre for profoundly autistic children, has gone into receivership. The Cotswolds branch news.
A medal awarded by the Queen to a former boxer from Bristol has sold for £50,000 at auction. Ronnie Russell helped rescue Princess Anne from gunmen to pay for his funeral. Now, today marks the anniversary of the nerve agent assassination attempt on a former Soviet officer in Wiltshire. It is just one of the unusual challenges faced by the force's Police and Crime Commissioner.
In the second part of our series, looking at the role and what it means, our correspondent Robert Murphy asked Mr McPherson how a small force copes with an international crisis.
Spies.
And the ITV News continues with the national and international stories at 6:30. Mary Nightingale has the details.
But here in the West Country, pupils at a primary school near Bridport were in London today taking part in a star-studded event that rewards children who are active in their community.
Well, this year's guests, including celebrities such as Idris Elba and Lewis Hamilton. Children at Symonsbury Primary say it's important to become good role models and encourage others to tackle issues like plastic pollution and mental health. Kevin Ashford sent this report.
Community. So all these amazing young people are truly...
Now, the organisers claim that last year schools and groups taking part in the WE programme did 1.6 million hours of volunteering and helped more than 580 charitable...
High Street. That's why this is so important. It gives lots of different mixes of uses to bring people in to become part of those communities.
So it's just to encourage the children to look at the different vegetables.
Not only is there the Turn Your Mashed Potato Blue room, there's the 91 ways you can use a banana room, and there's even a colour your own toast room.
Those low pressures in a bit more detail because they're just a bit more centred over the UK. But as I said, the fronts that are working their way through for the next, they will bring some wet weather, but it's that one that arrives during the weekend. And it's again another weekend. It's going to be a chilly night, not quite as cold as last night. Places down to 3 or 4 degrees across parts of Wiltshire, whereas last night we did get a frost. Any rain that we have got tomorrow will clear fairly quickly. We're going to hold on to some cloudy skies, I think, for most of the morning, at least anyway. From midday, we should see things brightening up, and the afternoon should be quite sunny, but a couple of showers may just work.
Hello and welcome to Wednesday's programme.
Coming up tonight between now and 6:30.
Good evening. Dozens of pupils from 2 schools in Gloucestershire faced 2 weeks in self-isolation after they returned early from a ski trip to northern Italy because of coronavirus fears.
Pupils from 5 Acres High School in Colford and Henley Bank High School in Brockworth are expected to return by coach tomorrow after the country went into lockdown.
Well, this afternoon, the World Health Organization announced the outbreak is now a pandemic and called on countries to take urgent and aggressive action. We'll have more on that shortly, plus details of the latest cases here. But first, Sangeeta Lal is live in Brockworth for us. Sangeeta, are people there? Chancellor Rishi Sunak delivered his first budget today with pressure to help the NHS and businesses affected by the coronavirus outbreak. But what else did he promise for the West Country? Here's David Wood.
Alex, thank you very much. Before that, though, Bristol City Council has apologised for the conditions inside a sheltered accommodation block in Hartcliffe.
Well, people living in Walwyn Gardens have been complaining for months, and conditions have now deteriorated even further following recent rainfall. And now the council has admitted mistakes were made and has promised to make improvements there. Ellie Barker has this report.
Well, Ellie is live with the residents in Hartcliffe this evening. Ellie, this sounds like good news. What has been the reaction?
The plans including a new grand.
More than 100 stolen bikes that were found at an address in Bristol have been listed online in the hope of returning them to their owners. Avon and Somerset.
Impact that nights have on his sleep is affecting his mental and physical health.
It comes as studies reveal more than a quarter of us are struggling to get enough rest, leading to a rise in the number of people taking medication or seeking treatment. Derek Johnson reports. Now, Prince Edward, the Earl of Wessex, was in Bristol today meeting children taking part in the Duke of Edinburgh Awards scheme.
The Earl has been taking an increasingly active role in the scheme since his father's retirement. Today he visited schools in Hartcliffe to see how they're making sure everyone can take part. Ellie Louise Ringe was there. Now it is day 2 of the Cheltenham Festival and over 50,000 people ventured to Prestbury Park for Ladies' Day.
Yeah, the highlights race was the Queen Mother Champion Chase. Let's take you to Carrie Davis. She's live at the racecourse for us tonight. And Carrie, we had a bit of West Country success, didn't we?
Now, Alex, technically, meteorologically, that's what I want to hear.
Hold you to that.
Thanks very much. Well, that's it from all of us this evening. I'll be back with the late news at the usual time of 10:30.
Now, they will hand you to Mary Nightingale as the ITV News continues. Whatever you're doing, have a lovely evening. We'll see you at the same time tomorrow.
Bye-bye. Hi. I've come to meet Dr. Claire Roddy to find out what they're up to.
We're exploring.
It doesn't do that with cancer.
It doesn't, though, because remember where cancer comes. So what we have to do to try and overcome that massive obstacle is to...
We all know that chemotherapy, radiotherapy can be really hard on cancer patients. What's it like when they receive this treatment?
It can be and they've got immune, sir. I asked them to think about what it was like if they've had the flu and then...
5.
It was the end of December 2015 and I remember I just finished my Masters and I had all these big plans. My
patients coming in for it, what happens to them? You take their blood, don't you?
Yeah.
What happens from that point on?
We run a lab where we make the cell to go into a patient.
What's it like for you working on this kind of treatment? Because, I mean, this could potentially save people's lives.
This is probably the most transformative from leukemia and translating it more broadly. And I think 10 years behind where we are currently in haematology.
Do you think that could happen in our lifetime, that it can make that kind of difference to all sorts of cancers?
I think it can. That's definitely